What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video back in Planet Coaster in the one, the only Time City. And we are back today, and we're going to be working on some more Apocalypse section, mainly in the queue line of our GCI wooden coaster, and we're going to be working a little bit more on the scene of the tower, first scene of the tower, and then, of course, we're going to be working a little bit back into the Jurassic section, a little bit, not by much, just a pinch, but we're mostly focused on the Apocalypse section and developing it and starting to detail some more stuff as we go along. So obviously the queue line has to be done, and it is one of the things that always is the hardest for me, because I have to go in and actually do all this, and you know, it can be very time consuming is what I'm trying to say. So I try to detail with you know, custom stuff, you know, making my own custom fencing and different things like that. I wanted to make it look like you're enclosed or chained in, or like imprisoned in this queue line, to kind of give that effect that there's no way out of this. You know, that's kind of like the idea of this kind of theming in this queue line. It's obviously going to have an apocalypse kind of theme. Still don't really have a name for this exact coaster just yet, and I don't want to name it Apocalypse. I feel like that's too cliche and too, you know, not very original. I want something very original and really cool that kind of will kind of go along with like the storyline when we do develop that storyline anyways. And I think that's kind of the direction that I do want to go with it. So when we get that all developed, and yeah, so it's going to be really cool. I'm very excited that how this is turning out. You guys are very excited on how it's turning out as well. So I can't wait till this park is fully fledged and kind of done. It will be really neat. And I mean, you know, obviously don't want to rush anything. So these some of these episodes might seem kind of slow paced, but you know, in the end, you guys, it will be worth it. Trust me. Just kind of bear with me with all these extra episodes, all these episodes and stuff. I do have to get caught up from where we were since my motherboard went out, because I probably lost some episodes from that, and not really where I wanted to be. So I'm just very thankful that my hard drive was fine, and I didn't have to worry about losing any of the, you know, progress that we've made within the game as well. So with that being said, I might actually start making a backup file for my Planet Coaster creations, and the way I'm going to be doing that is probably be posting it on the Steam Workshop. That way those parts are still available. So like after every episode, maybe, you know, go in and update the workshop item. I don't know if you can make it private or not, or public, you know, I don't know. If I can't, that's okay. If you guys want to have access to the park early, I guess that's fine. Not a really big deal, because it's obviously incomplete, but I think I've done that with some other parks, and I actually have done it with this park. This park is technically already on the Steam Workshop, not in its current state, but in the early stages. I think it only has like the entrance or something like that when I uploaded it, so kind of interesting. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of rides in this park, and I don't know if I've mentioned that before. I think I have. There's going to be a lot of rides in the park, and I'm going to try and make it to where, you know, there's 20,000 plus guests coming into this park. That's my ultimate goal, is 20,000 guests. Who knows, I might even eclipse that. I don't know. And then also what I wanted to do with this is make some like gateway kind of engineering, getting some extra wooden pieces in here to kind of make it feel a little bit more natural and a little bit better. And you know, when you go underneath, you know, those structures and stuff, usually you have those iron pieces there, and that's kind of what I wanted to create. So this is the section where we actually get in a little bit of creating working more on the first scene. Not too much really to talk about here, except I do add a little bit more junk and just a little bit more rubble, and just you know, just a little bit pieces here and there that will make the scene come together a little bit more. I do want to try and add more stuff onto the walls. I feel like the walls are a little bit bare right now, and I think that's something I'm going to work on next time. So each scene I'm going to take my time on, and you're going to see this come together very, very slowly. So this ride's going to come together super slowly. It's not going to come together really quick. I'm just going to go back and forth between sections very much so, and that's how I have to work. Otherwise I get a little bit impatient, and I'm not good at working on one thing for several hours. I have to be working on other stuff, and that's kind of why I'm working on multiple different big rides and attractions. So I have this to work on. And when I don't want to work on this, I can go work on the GCI coaster area and different stuff like that. And if I don't want to work on either of those, I can work a little bit on the streets and actually work on pathing and different things. There's a lot of options, and I can also go back and work a little bit on detailing in the Jurassic section and the entrance area, which still, again, is not complete. So there's still stuff to do in those areas as well, and hopefully those will all come together. I want to add another zombie. I want to add a couple of zombies probably. I'll have probably a few more before this first scene will be done. Just a couple of zombies in there, and when it comes down to an apocalypse section of the park, you're going to have a couple of diseased things, and that's one of the parts of this area that's, of the park that is kind of focused on, but it's not the only kind of apocalyptic thing going on. So, yes, there's a disease, but it's not as big as of a disease as you think, so... it's kind of got its own little storyline going on for it. So there's more than just that disease going on, because some people are immune to it, and that's kind of the storyline I'm going with. That not, only maybe half, maybe even less than half, are actually affected by this disease. So it's going to have some sort of storyline like that. But with that going on, an apocalypse kind of starts to throw out. But anyways, this is the section where we kind of go back to Raptor Run. I've been wanting to work on this wooden tower for so long. I actually have neglected it so much that I always keep forgetting to go back and work on it a little bit. And I don't finish it here by no means. I just kind of get something going for it, and at least that it's more solid and whole than what it used to be, because I had only one side completed, and at least this time I can say I have the structure on both sides now rather than just one. Went ahead and got rid of those custom supports too, and we work on the little entrance area here just by adding some gears to this and everything like that. Little decorations like this you're going to see sprinkled throughout the entire park, which is a nice little addition. I love having gears. I wish there was more gears into the game. I know that's probably not going to get any more later on. I'm sure we won't, but that's where we're at right now. But anyways, I just this park is turning out so cool, and I can't wait to see what it becomes someday down the future. Like, I hope this is a park that will easily get noticed by the developers and the Planet Coaster community out there when I finally drop it and kind of really showcase it more. And I'm gonna try, I don't want to say advertise it, but when I do complete it, I do want to try and get it out there. I'm going to be posting it like crazy on social media. I'm going to be posting it pretty much everywhere, especially when I get like a cinematic video out there, and I want it to be the best cinematic video ever. Like, you have absolutely no idea. I want to get some amazing shots. I don't care if it takes me hours or days to try and figure out how to get those amazing shots, but I don't know if you guys have seen Variable Gaming. He creates some of the best cinematic stuff I've ever seen in Planet Coaster. Like, it is insane, the stuff he creates in Planet Coaster. Like, he creates pretty simple builds. Like, he's no Silverette or anything. He creates some really good rides and scenery, but like, he's nowhere near like on Silverette's level as am I. I'm not nowhere near on that level either, but his cinematography and his videos are absolutely nuts, and I absolutely enjoy watching those. Even, just the angles that he gets are perfect for the situation. He's really good at the cinematography aspect of it. And, I've commented on his videos before saying, wow, this is absolutely incredible. I have no idea how you get this done. He recently did a reshade tutorial on Planet Coaster, so that's something I might look into, where you can kind of really control the colors and make it look a little bit more realistic. They have the in-game filters, but he actually has this program called Reshade that you can change kind of the way your game looks in a way, and it's kind of a neat feature, and that's something I might look into checking out, because he uses that a lot to kind of get the colors to make the game look just a little bit slightly more realistic. I think the game looks fantastic overall by itself, but it does kind of have a little bit more of a brighter effect probably in the game than you would probably expect in real life. You know, it's a little bit brighter, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I can't put my finger on it. You just have to like mess with some of those settings to kind of figure it out. So anyways, we do some more, of course, working on the queue line again. I want to try and keep that caged feeling through most of the queue line and everything. So you kind of feel like you're not escaping it. You know, this is kind of the thing. So this is the section where we kind of get a little bit into the theming of this area just a bit. So I wanted to place down one of those planes, and I wanted to make it look like it's crashed. Excuse me, and looks damaged, and it's gonna be kind of one of those fun little theming elements that you see a lot in Apocalypse sections. I think. Apocalypse theming anyways, and I think it works really well. I mean, just a crash plane always works. You can't go wrong with it. And yeah, I just put some rubble around it, some rock work. I actually did quite a bit of rock work here that actually worked out quite well. And you know, because the wings have fallen off now, and it's just kind of sitting there, not really in operational use, obviously. So, and then this turnaround was a great opportunity for some theming elements here as well, because, you know, it's also part of the queue line, and it'll also affect the theming in the ride as well, I think. So that's another neat thing that I thought of as well. But, you know, I also did, of course, some gateway editing here as well, because I wanted to make sure it felt... you know, because we did it on the other side, we had to do it on this side too, because this one has a little bit more of a wider gap of non-supports, and we want to make sure we have it as much supported as we can, even if it is... I might touch this up just a little bit more. I might add a little bit more better iron sections and stuff than what we currently have, just to add a little bit more of the effect on it. And I realized that one of the footers that are actually in game that are on the framework is actually the same footer that is used in the on the wooden roller coaster, and I never actually realized that. And I was like, wow, that kind of took me by surprise. So I started using it for the coaster supports of the footers for the custom supports that we kind of made. I really never really had a desire to custom support a wooden roller coaster. In my opinion, I feel like it's, you know, the in-game supports actually do a very good job anyways, unless you just want to add some extra supports, you know, that's something. And something I also want to do a lot of in this park as well is definitely do some perimeter fences and stuff like that. I think it will work well. Working with this terrain is kind of makes it kind of difficult too, because I don't know how to do the diagonal sections. But anyways, going into the like caged areas, this is another example. The entrance of the queuing area is actually caged in because we don't need anybody going into the perimeter of the ride. So it's also a good opportunity to do fencing there as well. So kind of neat, and it all kind of ties together and works very well together, I thought. So I thought it was very clever on how that actually came together overall, and it actually worked to perfection, pretty much the exact way that I wanted it to. So I thought this was another opportunity to do a lot more apocalypse kind of stuff, and this destroyed car I feel like is going to be a huge aspect for a lot of this section. I wish they had a couple different models, but you know, you got to use what you can get and try and make it as different as you can. We're going to use other cars as well, but this destroyed car is going to be used a couple times. I don't want to overuse it, but it's definitely it definitely works quite well. So I think this is our second or third time using it so far within this section. So we go in, do a little bit of terraforming, a little bit, or terra painting rather, not terraforming, but that's gonna about do it pretty much for this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more amazing content like this, because we do Planet Coaster all the time. If you want to watch this live, be sure to follow me on Twitch, because we actually do these episodes live on Twitch. So make sure you're following me on Twitch to know when we go live, and you can also follow the Discord as well. But anyways, thank you guys so much again, and I hope you guys have a great day. Cooler tomorrow. I think I already said that, but always got to make sure I had that in there. But thank you guys, and goodbye.